Lena Dunham
Oh,
is going to become a permanent resident of the woodshed. She's never getting out. If no one else will institutionalize her, we will.
ah,
And Sarah Jessica Parker, not just her terrible show, but Sarah herself, she's got it coming.
oh my gosh. I love watching your recaps. Well, I don't watch in just like that because it's terrible. So I just
Hmm.
watch your recaps and I feel at one with the and just like that universe.
All right, let's unpack this one. Because, wow, it's a roller coaster of royal drama, media manipulation, and emotional chaos. What starts as a conversation about yet another Daily Mail scoop on Prince Harry spirals quickly into a full-blown dissection of how dysfunctional, jealous, and deeply divided this whole royal saga has become.
I am doing the Lord's work,
You
Kinsey. I
are.
am.
You are.
I am.
You're taking one for the team. All right.
Hmm.
Well, I let you know a few seconds ago. Prince Harry's in Angola. Walking landmines. Now, the reason I'm telling you this and that a source told the Daily Mail the Duke won't let his wife go to England over security concerns, so there was no chance he'd allow her to go to Angola to walk across landmines, is because Harry and Meghan say that they did not tell the Daily Mail that they were pursuing a royal reconciliation. Like it came out that Harry was livid that someone leaked the peace talks, but someone is suspiciously now telling the Daily Mail about a trip, a surprise trip Prince Harry just took. There is a lack of consistency when it comes to this crew, and or maybe the only thing consistent is that they are inconsistent. You can't say like we are mad at the Daily Mail and then somebody go give the Daily Mail another scoop about Prince Harry.
This is so amazing on so many levels. So first of all, Harry is now has manifested the literal version of what he's been doing lo these many years, which is walking on landmines, and one of them is going to go off.
Ugh,
Like they've been going off. Secondly, let's say if we're going to give the bet, because if Harry and Meghan didn't leak it, well, it wasn't the palace. It was not. It was not. It's one of two people, and we have a track record of
right.
offenses. But let's take Harry at face value. Do you think it's possible, Kinsey, that Meghan secretes herself in another wing over in Montecito and is secretly making those phone calls without letting Harry know? Because to your great scoop the other week, you said you have it on great authority that she tends to abuse the staff when he's not around.
Mm,
And when he does see it, he intervenes on behalf of the staff.
right. Well, here is my theory. I think that I don't think Harry gave Omid Scobie his scoop in Endgame. We saw Harry dismiss the royal racist storyline with Tom Bradby, saying, "Oh, we never said that. The media said that." He was being dishonest. He was trying to dismiss it, but he was clearly trying to change the conversation. He ignores the royal racist storyline in Spare. They really don't get into it in the Netflix series, but someone whispered in Omid Scobie's ear that it was King Charles and Catherine, the Princess of Wales. You are probably like me. You probably don't believe that whatsoever, that
Mhm.
they were the royal racists, or there is a royal racist. We should stress, but somebody whispered that in Omid Scobie's ear, and I don't think it was Harry. And the Dutch version was accidentally leaked, and here we are today. Omid Scobie really has kind of fallen off the face of the planet and doesn't get very many scoops from the Harry and Meghan camp. But somebody did tell him that. And that's why I think that perhaps Meghan does do things that Prince Harry doesn't know about.
And this goes to how thick he is.
Yeah.
Diana herself used that word regarding Harry. He's thick. He can't figure it out. He can't figure out that in a filet of stew, the two of them, largely friendless, I believe,
Yeah.
staff churning over. Nobody's around long enough to get any real intel and go sell it, and I'm sure they signed the mother of all NDAs as it is.
Yes.
So if it's not Harry, who do you think it is?
Right.
Where's that call coming? It's coming from inside your house, you dummy.
Yeah. Same with the paparazzi photos. Harry doesn't want pictures of his children out there. The only source we have for pictures of his children out there are his wife.
So, here's the scene. People are angry that someone keeps leaking private information to the tabloids, specifically the Daily Mail. Everyone swears it wasn't them, yet the stories somehow keep coming. The kicker? The latest story apparently comes right after Harry and Meghan supposedly had some secret reconciliation meetings with the royal family. And, surprise, surprise, details of those secret talks have ended up splashed all over the front pages.
This idea of the royal reconciliation, it turns my stomach almost immediately. I'm like, no, you don't deserve it. I know that this is very petty of me. I know I need to be an adult here. There are so many people too that are telling me Prince William's going to be head of the church one day. As head of the church, he has to be an example, that example being forgiveness. I understand that. That is a very logical explanation to me. But from a PR standpoint, from somebody who's just private in general, I look at Harry and Meghan as an incredible liability, as somebody that, or as a pair of people that try to tear others down when they don't get their way. And I think to myself, don't do it. And I know that that makes me small. I know that that makes me a bad person.
I don't think that's true at all, Kinsey. I think it makes you a smart person. First of all, head of the church. I mean, Charles is head of the church and he is married to the woman he had a long time extramarital affair with. It has not diminished him in any real way. It's made him more human. Secondly, I can get often with the vengeful God of the Old Testament. I think sometimes vengeance is applicable and the only answer. I don't know how William could credibly, conceivably, or Catherine, Princess of Wales, ever trust Harry again after all he has done and said to them. And especially Catherine having gone through what she's gone through, and she's still in a process of recovery and healing, and she will live with this for many, many years. It changes your perspective on life. And I would bet it has had a very clarifying effect, a winnowing effect. And lastly, I think the reason this story remains so compelling is I don't think there is a family on the planet that cannot relate to this kind of stuff. Charles is ill. He is an older man. He knows he has fewer days ahead of him and then behind him. And I think he is looking to make his peace with his son before it's too late. I think there's something very elemental and human that is driving this impulse. But what do these two do? What do? They can't help themselves. They immediately leak this summit. Unless you want to strip him, he's entering, a fortified, high classified unit, make sure he's not wired up. There are multiple people around. Nothing of substance is really discussed. And, it's in and out. It's a final meeting with, I don't know how else you do it with these two. Right. I don't know how else you do it.
All right. You mentioned Catherine, the Princess of Wales, and you sent me, because, we typically talk about Harry and Meghan offline. But you sent me some really sweet, positive press coverage of Catherine, the Princess of Wales. And we saw a lot of it this week. And she looked gorgeous. And in come the cute, adorable children. And Princess Charlotte is Catherine's clone. And we're watching them. They have the same mannerisms. It was such a great weekend for Wales watching, if you love watching the Prince and Princess of Wales. But some are saying that perhaps this secret summit was leaked to disrupt Catherine's positive headlines. So do you buy into at all the fact that Team Sussex just could not stand the positive headlines that the Wales family were getting over the last few weeks and days?
Cue the eye rolls. From William's point of view, any kind of reconciliation just give Harry and Meghan more credibility and more material for their next Netflix pitch. Every photo, every handshake, every rumor of forgiveness can be Monetized. Meghan's new brand literally mimics royal aesthetics. Gold crest, calligraphy, regal imagery. A royal photo op, even an unofficial one, is a gold mine for her.
I tend to think the animating force here was Meghan. and her seething jealousy over Catherine, her single white femaling of Catherine, her rage that she will never be Queen of England. To see Catherine, watching it from an American perspective, I love Wimbledon, I love tennis. Watching Catherine as the patron of Wimbledon, seeing her this year at both the women's final and the men's, which were back to back, which must have been a lot for her. But I was most really moved by, there was a big story in the Mail about her breaking royal protocol. There was a very low-seeded American tennis player who defeated Sabalenka and advanced to the finals, and she was a long shot, and she couldn't do it, and she lost her composure. She was weeping on the court, and she had to remove herself and pull herself together. And tennis is so much about how you lose. It's why I love tennis. It's so much about like keeping your dignity and sportsmanship and all of that, and so it's very un-British too, right? To not be able to keep your stiff upper lip. And Catherine, in awarding this young player, put her hand on her arm and said, "Hold your head up high. Basically, you have nothing to be ashamed of." And I thought that was so lovely and moving, and the kind of the kind of humanity we're now seeing is, it's sort of a different, warmer. It reminds me of that shot of Catherine running out of her SUV towards like that little girl who had been waiting for her for hours.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff that I think sends Meghan Markle into paroxysms of rage. And so she couldn't help herself. She had to leak this story to put the Waleses on notice that they are working their way back. At least she thinks so. I don't think it's going to happen.
I hope you're right. You mentioned Catherine and Meghan's jealousy, and that's a really great segue. We're not done talking about the royal reconciliation. We'll go back. But there were two stories that reminded me exactly of what you were talking about that circulated this week. You and I love Tom Bower. We love Tom Bower's book Revenge, and for some reason, one of those stories that I had completely forgotten about started circulating this week about how Thomas Markle, her father, said that Meghan was so jealous of one of the girls she went to school with because she booked a gig in LA. She booked a gig, so and Meghan was ugly to her over it. Then a teacher made Meghan pick between being in the pajama game, a play, or doing some sort of week-long camp. And Meghan chose the camp, but she was angry over the fact that the teacher made her choose. So she insisted that her dad not be the lighting director on the play that she felt excluded from, and got into a screaming match with him and packed up and moved to live with her mother as a teenager over this. So the headline there is just this intense jealousy. Meghan Markle's Hollywood career reportedly suffered from her intense jealousy. And on the back of that, there's that story about how Meghan was so angry that Catherine, the Princess of Wales, was the priority when it came to fashion designers. I mean, I cannot imagine being this petty and saying, angry that Catherine was the priority, saying she's not even queen. She's not even queen. The power of yet, Maureen, the power of yet. She's not queen yet. But I think you're exactly right that there is so much jealousy when it comes to Meghan and Catherine, and Meghan had to be quiet last year. Meghan had to behave last year because you do not mess with cancer. And now all bets are off, it seems like, again.
That's why William's team is apparently adamant. No royal endorsement, no meetings, no second chances. And that brings us to the emotional core of the whole conversation. The heartbreak of Charles as a father, his reportedly ill, aging, and desperate to make peace before it's too late. There's something deeply human about that, even if it's naive. He wants to see his son. He wants to know his grandchildren.
There's so much about this that's amazing. This anecdote about her rage over a champagne problem. you can be in this play and have a big role, or you can go on this retreat, which sounds lovely. And how dare you make her choose? What is Sophie's choice,
Yeah.
truly? This is the kind of maturity that I'm sure the Windsors were like, wow, let's roll out the red carpet for this one. What an addition. Um, and then to have a screaming fight with her father, who, helped build this monster. I am fascinated by the gap. It's like the Christ of the Bible, where it's like we don't know what happened between age 12 and age 30. It's the same with Meghan Markle. Like there's this missing span of her life and what went down there, right? And
Mhm.
when you tell these stories or repeat the Bauer stories of that he's unearthing of the raving jealousy at that age, what comes to mind is the final sequence of The Substance, where Demi Moore finally just becomes this gargoyle who's spewing bile all over this. Like that's Meghan Markle to me. Like she has just fully been overtaken by her rage and her jealousy. And this is why she will never make it. It's why every next endeavor is yet another step down and a great failure.
No shade to Mindy Kaling, but do you think that's why Megan doesn't have any friends that are real Hollywood rock stars? I feel, and not that Mindy Kaling is her friend. I know she tried to play that, but you don't say to your friend, actually, it's Kinsey Sussex now. Like I would never. Um, so do you think that that jealousy that we're talking about limits her ability to develop relationships, real relationships in Hollywood? Look, we know they're toxic, but there are some people that don't care, that just
Mhm.
want the association with or the proximity to the royal family, and we don't see anyone with them.
Oprah has traded Meghan Markle for Lauren Sanchez. Okay. Uh, it's very, very true. Meghan, that Sussex Now comment, which will live in infamy, that was fascinating to me because that is someone who is trying to that's her superiority complex at work. But
Mhm.
I think that the flip side of a complex is a deep inferiority complex. It's like how narcissists are really just wounded children, but they're still monsters, right? It's two sides of the same coin. And so she's got a major inferiority complex and she's always looking to overcompensate or prove herself. Thus come these utterances that are just intolerable, insufferable. I think Mindy Kaling housed that comment on screen because she had to. She just had to absorb the shrapnel, but in her mind was like, I can't wait to get out of here and I will never have anything else to do with this woman again. What a thing to say to somebody. And you cannot be a friend to others, but especially other women, if you are at heart always looking at them as rivals, as competition. I wonder in her deep yawning chasm of need and insatiability, if she also is delusional enough to look at other women and see them as threats who might go after Harry.
Oh. Well, that's what that, like if you listen to Tom Bauer's words, one downside of Megan's success was her intense jealousy, especially if someone else got the lead part. Um, I think that Prince Harry was was the ultimate lead role. And she had dealt with so much rejection through her entertain, because this was a 40-year-old woman basically
Mm-hmm.
who
Mm-hmm.
secures Prince Harry. And she had dealt with so much rejection. Yes, Suits had happened, but on Maureen, you and I've worked in entertainment for combined, I won't even say the number. I had never heard of Meghan Markle before Prince Harry. Had you?
No, no,
No.
never.
And
No.
so okay, you landed Suits, congratulations, but that was a very core audience, and not much, she did not ever pop up in the pop culture space at all. So I feel like I want to believe she became this monster after she secured Prince Harry. I don't want to believe that she's been like this all this time and the royal family allowed this union to take place. But thanks to Lady Elizabeth Anton and more, it does seem like she was always this nasty person.
But as touching as that impulse is, it runs smack into the cold reality that Harry and Meghan have never once said sorry. Not to the Queen, not to Philip, not to William or Catherine. Instead, they've doubled down on their victimhood, monetised their titles, and blamed everyone but themselves. So in the end, the analysis lands somewhere between sadness and fury. Harry and Meghan are seen as self-destructive, addicted to drama, incapable of self-reflection, and constantly undermining the very reconciliation they claim to want. Meanwhile, William and Catherine quietly get on with the job, dignified, focused, and frankly, done with the nonsense. Because really, after everything that's happened, who in their right mind would ever trust them again?